Welcome, everybody, to this exciting edition of the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty Show. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer, and I am so excited. First time ever. Last week, he was on the show, on our Pick'em show, and he was from Australia. This is everybody. Welcome to the show. Mark, who's the host of Steeler Nation Australia. It is my pleasure to give him a good Steeler welcome. Welcome, Mark. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on? What an intro. That's fantastic.
I try. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Because, yeah, you were on the show last week. We had, like, the Pick'em shows, like you said, and you were just checking us out because you like to check out other Steeler podcasts. And I am so honored that we could get you on tonight. It's awesome, brother. It's or mate. Should I call you mate? Is that like a brother terminology?
You can say mate, man. It's just it's funny how you guys say mate sometimes, and even when some of the Americans out there they say bloke, like I say he's a good bloke, and they're like sometimes Americans say to me, "What's up, bloke?" And I'm like, wrong. That's the wrong way to put it, man.
What is bloke? What's that mean?
A bloke's like a person, like it's like he's a good bloke. Like I'd say Bubba, he's a good bloke, which means he's a good person. He's a good dude, right?
Okay.
The thing is, though, sometimes some Americans I've talked to, even in my chat and Still Oz, and by the way, I just shared this on my community post too, so we'll see it comes in from Still Oz too.
Okay.
But when some Americans go, "Well, g'day bloke," and it's like doesn't make sense.
Gotcha.
It's just g'day mate,
Gotcha.
how's it going? And g'day just means like good day. Like G day, g'day, mate.
Well, it's good to do that to everybody because sometimes some people don't even do that in the United States. They don't even say, hey, have a nice day or good morning, or they don't do any of that sometimes.
You guys don't talk to each other over there?
I do. I'm a talkative guy. I do, but some people just are miserable when they wake up and I go to work. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Good morning. Hey, have a great day. But some people just, I don't know, they like the negativity.
Yeah, it's more like because I'm not from Sydney. I'm about 2 hours away from Sydney. It's more like it's a coastal thing or country thing. So I'm on the coast here. But if you walk past someone in the shopping center, you won't do it. But you walk past someone in a random bushwalk, like, "G'day, mate, how's it going?" And like, you don't even care for their response. You just say, "What's up?" You say, "Good, yourself?"
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah, we got some questions. Shane welcomes you to the show. We got some people, Benjamin, Dan Keith, and Benjamin is one of my loyal fans. He said the Steelers are going to beat Cincinnati 23-20. So he always takes Pittsburgh, and he always has these big numbers. I always ask him. One time he said the Steelers are going to win by 40 points like about 6 weeks ago. But I asked him, I'm like, how much beer and smoke did you have to pick that? Because our offense is not that good. So let me ask you a question, Mark. How did you become a Steeler fan?
Pretty much like in a big nutshell, I started watching the game when I was younger, when I was, with my brother and stuff like that. Based off like Madden, when Madden was fun, and in like Madden on Sega in 1994, 1995.
Right.
So it started there. Then all the movies came out, like Little Giants, when I was like
the
nerdy dad and the
Rick Moranis.
Dad. Yeah. Who is it?
That's Rick Moranis was the star of that movie. And he was in Ghostbusters, and he was a famous comedian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the girl couldn't play and stuff like that. And then she did play, and then she was a quarterback and whatnot. I don't know.
Yep.
It was like and looking back at it now, you're like, well, as a kid, you hated the other side, but if you did it today, you'd be in trouble because, we're an adult.
Right.
But no, it's a great movie, man. So it started there, Little Giants, and then the Madden games. And around like the 2000s, with Remember the Titans, The Replacements, Friday Night Lights with, I can't remember who was in the show, but the college Varsity Blues, all those movies came out at the same time. And I was like, this is freaking fantastic. The Waterboy came out, and I was like, man, the way that the NFL can be filmed, and nowadays they don't make films like that because, Roger Goodell doesn't really want that physicality back in the game. He wants to get rid of that stuff. Right. But back then in 2000s, I was like, this is awesome. Like the Waterboy, you can just go and smash someone. From the Remember the Titans was fantastic too.
Oh, yeah, because they couldn't coach like that nowadays. You can't do any of that. You can't do any of that.
When they made them like do was it Denzel Washington's like keep going until you vomit, all that kind of stuff. Like that stuff is fantastic. So all those movies around that time, I was like, okay, I like the NFL. I'm starting to understand it. I played the video game. I think I got the video game on Madden 2004 with Michael Vick. And around like I think 2002 or 1. I chose the Pittsburgh Steelers based solely off the colors alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't know who they were, man. I was like, okay, I'll go with them. And then I started to watch Maddox, and I started to get into it around 2004 with Big Ben, and of course we won the Super Bowl. But the time I turned into a crazy super fan was probably Debo when he ran back that touchdown for 99
in the Super Bowl. Yes,
and I was like,
very classic play.
That was 43. I'm like, wow. From that point, I was like, I love this team. So it's based off colors alone. And I used to think they were black and yellow, but I know they're black and gold 1,000%.
Right.
So it all goes back to then. And then every year when you're a kid, like 13, 14 years of age, you just learn more history and you watch Hines Ward, you watch, Plexico Burress or Dan Crowder or Amos Iraway, all those dudes. You're like, man, James Ferris is fantastic, and just keep watching Steelers of that era. And I was very lucky to get, Troy and all those blokes too.
So how do you get do you got a lot of Steeler paraphernalia in Australia, or can you get it easy, or do you have to?
Not really. So I first got stuff, my very first, like, I guess, order I've got like those Steeler football mats. I've got one of them in my garage. That's like 17 years old. It's fading away. So, but to us, we just go for the Steelers website, or we go for like Football Fanatics. But it costs us it's dear, and shipping now is so much more dearer. It's like $70 for shipping, which is Australian, right? That's just terrible.
Yeah.
So when you buy something, you have to buy something you want, and you buy more things. So the last one I did was like over $500 worth of stuff, including I think my 46 jersey. And you can probably figure. Do you know who number 46 is?
Oh my God, you're gonna stump me.
I can't say his name because it's a swear word in Australia. That's why I bought it though. Christian.
Oh my, Christian
46.
Kuntz. Christian
Kuntz. Easy, mate. Easy.
Well, we could swear over here, so we have to split it and divide in the screen. Well, that is a unique jersey. I mean, that's a long snapper. I mean,
I had to get him because the way we say that name here is we say it on a daily. It's like a swear word. You know what word I'm talking about? K-U-N-T-Z.
Yeah. I swear all
differently.
The time, Mark. I say the F word all the time because the F word is very fluent in my language. So especially when the Steelers are losing, my wife it's crazy in my downstairs. I have a Steelers bar downstairs, and I go back like in the 70s with Bradshaw and Lambert and stuff, because I'm actually 45 minutes from Latrobe, so I can go to so I can go to the training camp. I try to go every year, and I've been going for many years now. When the COVID hit, it was real bad, but so you've been a fan that long, and what made you get into we got some they love your Zaraway story. Shane loves your Zaraway story.
He's awesome, man.
Well, Shane is a guy from West Virginia that follows West Virginia, graduated from West Virginia. It's part of my podcast. And he probably even met Zaraway back in the day, I'm sure. So, and he's
one of the first ones I think I kind of knew when I was watching the game with Maddox and stuff like that in the bus, right? So, and he was a really fast bloke to watch. He was super quick. So I was like, that guy's awesome.
Yeah, he was a beast too. Yeah, the bus. I mean, you know your Steelers stuff. So hey, Troy, Ellen, thanks for tuning in. Lisa says we bleed black and gold, and she says hello to everybody. Lisa, thanks for tuning in. So yeah, and he did. I knew Shane knew him, and he does know him. Yeah. Okay. So what made you get into the podcasting world from from the likes of the Steelers?
Good question.
To then.
Good question. So I started my page on Facebook back in 2017, Steelers Nation Australia on Facebook, right? Okay. I started that because basically my friends and family were just overly sick of me talking about the team, because all I do, like, I'm honestly goodness, when I meet someone, and I've met many people around the world, and if I were to meet you in person, I tell them, like, let me know when you've had enough to talk about Steelers, and I'll go. Because I can talk about the NFL and Steelers forever. Like, I just love it. I just cannot stop. So I'll say, give me a heads up, and I'll stop, because I'll find it they're an NFL fan if they're American or Australian, and they might tell me some things, but I'll just go like that, and I won't stop. So I started a Facebook page back in 2017, and I did it because my friends and family, I reckon, were probably sick of me talking about it, so I needed a place to outlet and vent. Sure. I built that up over the last, I think, like 2 years into 2019. And before I went to Pittsburgh in 2019 with my dad. I came back and I worked with a company at the time called Behind the Silver Curtain. They did podcasting, and me and my mate Maddie from the Facebook page, I sent Brian Anthony Davis, who's the podcast director, an email, and I said, any chance I can have a podcast? I want to have a go. And he said, yeah, have a chance. And 3 days later, we got the gig. We started doing podcasting. Then about 6 months later, I think I created my own YouTube channel, and now it's just went boom ever since. So podcasting comes back from pretty much me having it. I was a bit scared and nervous. I was like, I can't do it. But I emailed the guy, and it all goes back to Brian Anthony Davis Bad for giving me a chance and my mate Matty a chance. We now do our own thing on another channel called Steelers Touch Down Under, another channel. But on the Steelers,
so you have two. Steeler podcasts.
That's more or less like Matty Singh and I help out doing podcasting, like back and forth like this. Steeler Nation Australia is 100% mine. It's where I built my fandom because I just need a place to vent and rant, talk stuff. Right. And so that started in 2020. It started 3 years ago, Christmas Day. I had a few drinks and I wanted to thank people on my page. And I've still got the video, by the way. I'm really nervous. I'm sat all the way back near the door. I'm like, I couldn't talk. And then I had drinks. So I put the video out there to thank my page. Didn't realize how big YouTube was and how much fun you can have. And then from that day, I've just been doing videos and getting better every single time. So I've been podcasting for about 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I started in 2018, but I used to do Facebook rants after the Steelers win or lose. Yeah. And then it would be bad. Like it would be like intense. And when I used to go to season, when I went to 2 AFC championship losses, and my friends won't let me go anymore. So I haven't been, I went to Ben's last game, and I think that's
really?
The last game. Yes. So that is the last game I probably will ever go to because that moment is etched in my mind. Yeah. And it was something historic because I mean, I got a picture of Big Ben. I almost kissed him on the cheek. My fiance, which is now my wife, she cried because she didn't take a good picture, but I was like, oh my God, Tammy, it's the greatest picture in the world. It's me with Big Ben, So, Shane, let me, I'm going to get my buddy Shane in to pop in with a question here. Hold on, Shane, I'll get you on. So when do you usually do your podcasting? Like
it's all in the morning. So I've realized like the original idea for the Facebook and also for the YouTube channel was to inform Australians about the Steelers. However, I found out real fast that no one cares. Like legit, no one cares in Australia. We got a few guys in Australia. Like there's like fans in Australia. I shouldn't say no one cares. There's a few guys on the group. That's a bit bad. There's a few guys on the group and on the page that I know from from the internet that I haven't met in person. I've only met a few guys in person. But I'd say, there's Australians who do watch it, but not the way the Americans do. My largest audience is 85% American, which makes sense. So all my podcasting, I schedule videos from like 5 p.m. plus, which is my 8 a.m. So I wake up every morning and I missed the news yesterday, Matt, Canada.
Yes.
I'm the last person to know.
Yes.
I don't know.
I didn't know about it until like 3:00 my time because I wasn't on my phone and everybody was like, hey, Bubba, did you hear the story? Bubba, they got rid of him. I didn't know who that they were talking about. So I'm going to bring Shane on because Shane got a question for you real quick. Shane.
I'll tell you what, I was on with Bubba before when you were messaging us last week, and it's good to finally meet you. I'll tell you what, I was so excited that you're coming on the show. I was texting Bubba today while I was at work. I tried to call him, and I have questions like, I can see a jersey in the back there. Is that Debo's jersey?
Debo, yeah.
So Debo, a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, knows Debo really well, and I tried for the longest time for Bubba's wedding to get Pat McAfee's autograph and Debo's autograph, and it fell through. My buddy coached his son in high school, and he lives real close to me. So I live I live close to a lot of Steelers and a lot of Pittsburgh Penguins players, and Amos Zaraway I knew in college. That's a whole nother story. He got in a fight and I drove him away from the party, got him out of that scenario. But he was a real stoic, really quiet guy.
I can't have any stories about no one here. Like legit nothing. Like I don't know any stories about players because I live in Australia. I'm convinced sometimes too I should have been born in America because like my whole mind is American. Like I just love everything to do with your country and culture.
Western Pennsylvania, you run into a Steeler. I got so many Steeler stories, it's out of control. But Western Pennsylvania is the heart. I'm telling you, this Steeler stuff 24/7 is Steeler stuff all the time. And I'm like you. I live it, breathe it. I even schedule when I work during a Steeler game. I call off sick because I can't work. I get stressed out.
You can't miss it. You can't miss a game. There's like I wake up at 3 a.m. For the first 9 weeks. the 1 p.m. games are my 3 a.m. I've been getting up for 20 years. People often say, "Oh, I feel sorry for you." I'm like, "Don't feel sorry for me." It's like I've been doing it for ages. It sucks, but you get up, you want to watch it. I can't wake up like at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and know the game's been over. I will lose my mind. Like I have to know the game right now. I don't want to sleep there or watch it on replay. No way, dude. I have to. The only game I missed in recent history was when I knew Trubisky was starting for the Jets, and I came home hungover and drunk after a grand final NRL party. And I thought, no effing way am I going to stay up for Trubisky, so I went to bed. And I missed Kenny Pickett's debut because I was like, I can't watch this. I can't watch Trubisky again. Couldn't do it.
So you would be a typical Yunzer.
Oh,
so
yeah,
a Yunzer is a Pittsburgh terminology of like pro.
That's what I was gonna.
Yeah, it's just that's what.
Do you know that? Do you know that vernacular, like real Pittsburghese?
Yeah.
So I moved away from Pennsylvania, and then came back. So I can hear it clearly now. But so you know the vernacular. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I've been there 3 times. I got mates over there in Pittsburgh.
Awesome.
3 or 4 mates. Took my dad there last year. Took him to the Heinz. I still call it Heinz, right?
And you can, because I will too until the day I die.
Yeah, like you know what I get about that kind of crap though. Like people say you should call it X. It's been Twitter for like 20 years. I'm not going to start calling it this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The one moment it changes. Why do I need to change for you to tell keep on X? Heinz Field was Heinz Field for what, 23 years?
Yep.
Why am I going to call it Acrisure Stadium now? No, to me it's Heinz. It's always going to be Heinz.
Right. It's like the kid that gets a shitty nickname, and doesn't matter what if he becomes the fucking president, he's still Joe Shit the Rag Man that you knew from back in the day.
Yeah, we've got a nickname for one of our not mates, but a high school that I made up. I can't even say anymore because of PC culture. Like I'm not allowed to, but we still call him that when we see him around. You know. It's just I'm not changing nothing. Like one little different brand thing's not going to change the way I say this. Like to me, it's still Heinz Field, and then it's easier to say than Acrisure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and just being in that stadium before they did the remodeling was way better. Like because back in 2001 when I changed from Three Rivers to Heinz Field, I had a seat license, so my name is etched in that stadium forever until they bulldoze it over. So. Mm-hmm. You know, thank you, Ron Jeremy. Go Steelers. Yes.
So I have one more question. When you did go to Pittsburgh, what were the things that you thought were just really interesting? Like, I can't believe this exists.
Can't believe it.
Was it a Sheets? Was it Sheets? Was it Permane Brothers? Was it something you ate? Did you get the Pittsburgh shits? Whatever.
Did you drink an Iron City beer?
Yeah, I had irons. I had Yingling as well. I think my mate had Yingling. We were up in Redbeards on Mount Washington, I think it was, up top.
Okay. Yeah, Redbeards.
I also went down. The first time I was there, though, was quite funny because I was walking around town at like 10:30 at night, and one of the hotel blokes, he'd given me like direction and stuff where to go to eat, or 9:30, right? And I was walking around my thing out. I'm not saying Pittsburgh's a bad area, but you got to be safe wherever you go.
Oh yeah.
And I was like. At 9:30, I got my backpack on. I had me thing looking out. Where do I go like this? I'm like, you idiot, Mark. You stand it like a sore bloody thumb. Like put your damn tourist look away and start to walk around like a normal person. But I'd probably say like the food's pretty good to me. I love American food. I didn't know that you guys when I first went. I didn't know that you guys had its own transit system where you could get free stuff around there. That was cool.
It just goes to the South Hills. See, Pittsburgh. See, I work in the South Hills, and the people that live there, I swear they're werewolves. They don't cross bodies of water. They won't go. It's like crossing one of the rivers is like, won't happen. So they stay in the South Hills, and they think because I live north of the city, they think I live in another freaking country.
Yeah. I kind of like when I walked around the North Shore too, didn't realize how like desolate that was. Nobody was around on game day.
No, no one lives out there. Yeah,
it's game day. They all come. It's just like they're like rats on a piece of cheese. They're just coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, Southside was pretty cool. Like we went there. My first time there, I was like getting all the because I was 26 when I was first there. Right, in the last time I was there, I was 30, I think 31 or 30. So it was a big difference in age. And I was like 26. I'm still kind of like young enough, cool, I guess, to have drinks and stuff like that. But when I went out again at 30. I just was like, this crap. I was like, what is this place, Like not crap, but like it just wasn't the same as being out. But like sounds like pretty fun. I went to Mario's and all those kind of places and just had a good time. But you said what stood out? What really like different about Pittsburgh?
Like when I bring someone in from out of town, I usually take them to get Permane Brothers, show them a little bit of the Strip District, and then just everything else is just like maybe some Italian food someplace or, But most thing is like just like the Permane Brothers, the Yingling, the Iron City, Rolling Rock beer, just stuff like that.
Oh, you're honorary citizen of Pittsburgh.
There
you go.
I agree.
I've been there 25 days, I think in total.
What?
Yeah, I think I've been there. I think something like that, 7, and maybe 10. Because I went there for Christmas. I went there for Steelers versus Ravens Christmas Day. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So what was the reaction of the fans?
Was that the one where Antonio Brown reached over in the goal line?
Yeah.
That was a great Christmas.
My favorite play is still Big Ben to Eli Rogers. Without that catch, no one talks about it. Without that catch of him going up in the air like this, then it doesn't get. And also, my other favorite play is Lawrence Timmons sacking Joe Flacco right at the guts, smashed him. But yeah, I was working in Banff at the time at the Fairmont, right? And I got some really good cheap. The Fairmont Hotel was like $400 a night. So here's me in my shorts, being an Aussie bogan, and I see people like eating wings with like knife and fork and whatnot. I'm like, what are you doing, you losers? And I'm like, can I just get a burger, please? Like, I get a burger and beer. Just being like,
yeah.
They're all fancy and whatnot. That's cool. They didn't really like how to take me, but I was in the Fairmont. I was paying like $50. I think $50 a night there. So I stayed there, and I went to a Penguins game that night on 24th. And Christmas Day was like wake up, like Christmas Day in America.
Tailgate.
Let's effing go. Steelers versus Ravens. I went to the bar. Some bloke yelled out, I came all the way from Miami. I was like, man, I said, F that. Like, I came from Australia. Went, give this guy a shot. Let's go.
Mic drop.
Yeah. Because what they did many years, tailgating in Pittsburgh was so huge, they didn't have the hotels and the parking garages. Like, you could party at, like, I've been down to Steeler games like 3 o'clock
overnight
in the morning. You know what I mean? Just getting ready to party. But now they don't want tailgating so much. They want to go into bars, which kind of takes the thrill.
I'll be honest. I tried walking around with tailgating, but it's not in my mind. I was like, everyone's going to be your mate. But at the same time, though, no offense to anyone, but there's still some weird blokes in Pittsburgh, right? So I'm walking around. I'm like, if I can't just walk up and go, hey, what's going on? They'd be like, who the fuck are you?
Why do you do that around here in Indiana?
Right. Well, you got to think of who all stuck around Pittsburgh. It was the folks that were hard working, hard living. Once you're part of the fold, they'll welcome you in. Yeah. But until then, they're just like,
If I knew you, I know you blokes now. If I was to come over and have a beer and a barbecue, fine. But I think in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to go to random strangers. And then when I started doing that, I was like, this doesn't work the way in my mind. So that's when I went back to Jerome Bettis Bar and Grill. And also, I was carrying like, what do you call those big drinks you guys got? The
big pilsners.
Yeah, we had Coors
40s. 40.
Yeah.
40 ouncer.
I put in the bin because those Coors Light taste like trash. It was terrible.
Oh, it tastes like piss water.
So I went back to Jerome Bettis Bar and Grill there, and then I had some drinks there and just got loaded. And then at the game, I had like one drink. But yeah, tailgating. I think if I go again, I'm either going to make my own or like just have some connection because you can't just go to random people.
Yeah, you could go and like buy a pass to like a big tailgate. Like that's I do for college football. I have some friends that have tailgates. Yeah.
If you ever come to Pittsburgh and you go and listen to the podcast called Steel Here Podcast with Kevin Adams.
Yep.
Well, my buddy is Kevin Sr. His son does that podcast with Jersey Jerry, and they have the Steelers with Kenny Pickett. Well, they do a tailgate party. It's like $30, all you can drink. And
that's where I go to.
Yeah, I was there at the Ravens game when Mason Rudolph got knocked out, and I almost got arrested. And my fiance saved me because the cops were coming, and I was throwing up everywhere. And she told the cops I had the flu, so I got. And then I revitalized and was out there cheering, and we almost come back, but it didn't happen. But yeah, you hook up if you ever come to Pittsburgh, you hook up with those guys, and I'm telling you, and they always have Steelers come in. And they have so Kevin throws a hellacious party, and he does it all across the United States.
He's built something really special, to be honest. It's gone all over
He's like, Bubba, you got to stay with one format. And I'm like, Kevin, I got to do a whole bunch because I love Steelers, but I love a whole bunch of other stuff too. But I love Steelers dearly. So let's get Shane. You can stick around if you like, but let's get to.
No, One more question, and I'll
Go
drop
ahead,
off.
Shane. Go ahead.
And I lost my train of thought because that's just so interesting. No, my question is this: if you were to go back and play football like in high school, okay, or whatever, what position would you like to play?
Ooh, that's a good question. You got two good questions so far. You know what? I really love the safety position. I really do. I like the way that the safety can kind of control a lot of things where they can pick off routes, like with the interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
They can also come down into the box and then get Troy Polamalu tackle and Chris Johnson. That, by the way, is one of my favorite tackles I think ever. Besides the one where he tackled the bloke with his back, like that was like how the F
like that
turn around and he tackled with his back. I like the way the safety position works, where they can see the whole field. They can communicate with the cornerbacks. They communicate with everyone. So if I were to play and if I was fitter and maybe bigger, I'd probably say safety. Safety's work, I think, can change a game. And also without Minka, our team is different. So we need Minka back
way
there.
different.
So
Yeah,
and Troy
was
so fun to watch. But like even just the different styles of safety from Minka and Troy, they're different blokes. But I would say safety position because you can see the whole field. You can run back and cover the deep. You can pick off the slot, and Minka's crazy over there too. So that to me would be like I'm not going to say quarterback. That everyone does that, but yeah, safety is like you can see everything.
And now what awesome if you have to pick. So it's a small high school. You got to play both ways. Your safety. What are you going to play? You be a slot. That's a pretty good transition from safety to slot.
Most of the time, that's what they do anyway.
On offense, yeah.
Well, if you know what's crazy. I think running back would be kind of fun if I was like, fit and stuff like that. I think running back would be kind of interesting, but they have a really hard job when you think about it. Like they're getting punished all the time. So maybe a scat fullback or a halfback or something like that. That like gets like minimal touches that doesn't get too much into the game, like a Najee.
Yeah.
I'd say like receiver. I think that what would be frustrating about a receiver is if they run the whole game, and maybe this is why Pickens does get annoyed, right? They run 50 snaps and 50 routes but never get targeted. At least the running back's involved in the game. So like it must be tough running a route and then doing it again because you didn't get there. They've got to be very disciplined as receivers. So I'd probably say fullback or like running back.
Bubba, he should talk to Brian Burns because I think the 3 years we played, we threw 3-4 passes.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, small high schools didn't pass a lot.
They ran. It was like no matter what, you're running the ball up the 2-hole or the 4-hole.
Yep. When did we bring back? Wasn't there a saying back in the day? It was like, "Hey, diddle fiddle up the middle for the Steelers."
Yeah,
that was in the 40s, and that was every play they ran the same play in every game.
Yeah, and it was the first, and the opposition knew it was coming. They did it just because they wanted to do it, right? They're like, okay, the first play of the game, we're going to run. Hey, diddle fit in the middle. I was like, fantastic. The game's changing a lot.
Well, it's kind of like they know what we're doing now before the guy who they just fired.
Bella.
So,
Bella's on. Hey, I'm going to get off here. I just want to say, Mark, I think this is a match made in heaven. Bubba won't ask you, but I think you should come on a regular basis. He got two shows. He's got two shows. This is fantastic.
He can come on anytime. He can come on anytime. Anybody, he's got an open invitation anytime.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not very committal person, but I'll definitely come on.
No, not committing, but just like you have to come back. You have to come back again. I mean, this is fantastic. I love watching this.
When we win the Super Bowl, like I'm keen. You know what I mean?
Well, there we go. Yeah, I got a lot of people saying great stuff. Alan's in the house. Corey Cortazzo's in the house. Chris Anderson, Permani Brothers is a bomb. Also, Max Tavern on North Side has great German food. Yeah, Kyle-L's in the house. He says hello.
Before you do go, Shane, I want to say, like, that's a good point, right? I want to say one good thing. This is why I follow a lot of podcasts, and there are guys, just starting or whatever it may be. I try and follow as many as I can. One to be very frank, just to kind of see what, of course, the competition and what's going on the internet, that kind of stuff, but also like to reach out to other blokes and see what's going on and have fun. Because I think we missed this point. As Steel fans, we missed this point of actually talking football and the black and gold stuff and just being around what this is. All this stuff right now is just a representation of the Steelers. Okay, Matt Canada sucks. Kenny Pickett sucks. You move on and you talk other stuff like Amos Zero Way, all the cool stories about tailgates. It's Pittsburgh Steelers football, and that's why we can talk about it all the time. That's what I love is meeting other blokes and other girls too.
Because Bubba's, I'm not going to speak for Bubba, but he has a similar, similar background as me. We grew up in the same area, went to the same high school. He's just a few years older than me, but we remember the Steel Curtain. We remember watching that. And then we had to live through the fucking 80s and the shit show that was the Steelers. And they were a joke at Tecmo. They were a joke in the first Madden. They were just terrible. And we went through that, and it's kind of strange it's cyclic, and it's just the way it is.
For me, I don't think I've actually ever had a losing season, me watching. I think like 2002 we were 6-10. So I think I've had one. So in 23 or 4 years,
used to it.
All I know is winning, right?
Yeah.
All I know is winning.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what I was getting to, Mark.
Nothing wrong with
To
that.
me, I'm not the fan. Like, I honestly don't care. If they were to lose 20 games in a row, I would still support them the same way. And we're not even mathematically eliminated yet, so I'm not going to complain. There's one of our mates there, Jed Edward, too. He's from still Oz. He lives on the West Coast. He's awesome, right? I'm not too worried about that stuff. I'll cheer him on regardless.
Well, I take him, like I said, I don't ever bet against them, and I don't ever pick against them. I get angry because I know how we are and how we can play, and I hate losing to the teams that we're supposed to win, like this past game, which I know the Cleveland Browns defense was actually very, very good, but I'm always going in that we can beat anybody at any time because, I mean, even in the 70s when they didn't have the offense, they had the great defense, and then Bradshaw came on at the later part of his career. Like Bradshaw's last game, I don't know if you know this, Mark, but his last game was against the New York Jets, and his arm was held with duct tape.
Yeah.
And he had that same injury that Ben had, but I watched it in a bar when I was a young kid with my dad. Bradshaw threw 2 touchdowns. That was the last time he ever played, and he knew it was time to go. Now, I know he had issues with Chuck Noll and stuff, which I didn't know that. In his documentary, there's a documentary out there. If you ever get to see it, it's very, very good on Bradshaw. I mean, the Steelers in the 80s, like Shane said, we could have been if we just drafted Dan Marino, but they didn't draft Dan Marino. They drafted Gabe Rivera, and that's the end of the story. But also, too, so for 26 years, it was Bradshaw until we drafted Big Ben, and I was there for all the Big Ben stuff, and I've been a Big Ben fan, all of it. So we have a little bit of a couple of years we had some off years, but I was still, rooting for the Steelers no matter what. So
you had Slash. Yeah, you had Slash Cordell Stewart. What year was that? Was that like 96 that they went to the Super Bowl? They just kind of got in by the skin of their teeth. But
yes, but also too, they just being a Steeler fan, this is the greatest sports fan base ever.
It's pretty big. It's massive. New Zealand, from Mexico to Ireland. I've spoken to guys in Germany. You know what I mean? All over the shop.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I've been in Turkey, Qatar, all over. Germany, Ireland, and wherever I go. I remember landing in Kuwait and going to take a shit, and someone spray painted those little yellow, red and blue stars and Steelers. Yeah. And, that represent fire, water, and earth or whatever that makes the steel.
Hypocycloids, they are.
Yeah, boy, that's a mouthful. But that's exactly what they're called, yeah. And, you see that people tagging the Steelers everywhere. I mean, you can't take – if you go around the NFL, and I've heard people say this, there's more Steelers jerseys in the stands than any other – like people wear maybe a sweatshirt or something, but in Pittsburgh, it's Steelers jerseys.
They say that we travel. We do, but we also live there. So there are guys out in Arizona, there are guys out in the West Coast, there are guys out in Dallas or Texas, or wherever. Like, we don't just travel. We're everywhere. And I think too, like for me, when I became a fan, it was based on the colors alone. The colors were awesome, and you can't beat this uniform. Every other team is changing their uniform every single year. We have ours set for we changed the font. The font changed. That was it. Like after 40 years, So we're consistent. I think as well, like what I try and preach on my show, and Jed knows too, is like I want to get back to being a fan. I'm not a fucking analyst. I don't care. I just want to watch the game and have a beer and see Najee run over someone. Like I know where there are problems. Yes, we have problems at left tackle and center. Their line played terrible, and I think you can always be hopeful for the next game. Like people say that we aren't gonna win the Super Bowl or playoffs are done. It's over. Season's over. Then don't watch. Simply don't watch. Go and cheer your team on. 7 games to go. Kenny Pickett sucks. Yes, he does. And how funny would it be?
I think this week is the week that the cocoon comes out, and I think Kenny will throw in the middle. And I believe it, as I said an hour before. I think Kenny, now since Canada has gone, it's a new regime here. It's a new thing. Like when Kenny played for Pitt, he was something. I know if he was with any other college besides Pitt, being a hometown boy, they might have ran him off already, but I don't see that. I just see he's going to get, like, he was great, and they were counting on him last week on the fourth quarter. It just, you can't bet all the time.
If Kenny wins that, he's a hero, but if he loses, he's a loser, right? And how fast did the fan base really switch on him from the offseason and like the next? It's like they switch so fast. He's not playing good football. We know that, but give the football to Warren and Najee, and you'll feed everything else in.
Right,
it'll be fine.
Yes.
I don't know if Najee's like. Najee just doesn't have it this year. I mean, I like the guy.
He's a bit off.
Yeah,
because we haven't. Now we're getting into the nooks and crannies of Steeler football, because our line hasn't blocked for Najee. Najee is a back from tackle to tackle, Shane. He has to get that yardage. If he gets 4 yards in the middle, that takes the pressure off Kenny. Second down and 6, second and 5.
But he's not getting that 4 yards.
He's not getting that 4 yards right now. But also too, we didn't have a tight end. We don't use the tight ends because Freiermuth just come back. So we use the tight ends. Kenny uses as a safety valve. And when they got, Dante's got to catch the ball, and they got to know the right pass routes, and they're just got to be on the same page. They haven't been on the same page, and that is the problem right now.
The previous 2 weeks was pretty good to see with Najee and Warren with the Titans and the Packers. But then also, people forget too, we played the number 1 defense, that is the Browns. Browns are a good team this year.
Yes, they are. They're number 1 defense. Yep.
They're a good side. They can tackle. The first get off was Myles Garrett, almost got a safety. Should have been a safety, by the way. I think it was dead set a safety. And look, the Browns, it's so funny about our fan base too, right? Like, this is what I think, like, as a collective of everything, right? Because the Browns have never won a Super Bowl. They've won 4 championships in 1956. No one cares about that.
Nobody cares.
The Bengals, I can't stand the Bengals. They are the most, I cannot stand them at all. I hate them. I never want to see them win. As long as I'm alive.
Well, if you're a true Steeler fan, Mark, you don't want anybody from our division doing anything. That's
very true. But
yes.
I can't. The Bengals, I would want to go to the grave with my terrible towel and then smile and just say, like, on the back, on my tombstone, the Bengals suck, you losers. Like, I want fans who are like me, a Bengals fan in Australia, to never experience winning. That's how petty I am. I want to live there. I would rather never us win the Super Bowl if they never won one too, because I cannot stand them. Like, you know why? Because Vontez Burfict and Pac-Man Jones and all that era, and now with Joe Smug Shiesty, I cannot stand his face. I cannot stand their organization, how they are. I cannot stand anything about them. So the 0-3 Super Bowls is fantastic. Like,
Hey, Mark, have you ever had that 23andMe done DNA test? Maybe. Maybe you're not who you think you are.
I don't know.
Or maybe
you
like
might be a Pittsburgher and you don't know it.
Yeah, you identify as a Yinzer. Is that your preferred pronoun now? Yinzer?
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, you can say it. Ralph Williams, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm a Yin Tim. Oh goodness, I can't say that. No, because I don't like the Ravens. I don't like the Browns. Sure, the Browns are like, if they get one, they kind of deserve one, because I don't know, the Browns have one. But I never want the Bengals to ever experience winning, ever, and I mean ever.
Well, they won't win this week, I guarantee.
No, and they can't win this year because they're now Jake Brown. And Jake Browning does anything against us.
Well, the thing is, though, Mark, it's going to be a difference. He's going to go against T.J. Watt. And something last week is they didn't put a lot of pressure on that Thompson quarterback from Cleveland. They should have.
That's right.
Yeah. See, and that.
Hey guys, I'm going to pop off. I just wanted to ask you some questions. Lots of love.
That word, Shane, is a bad word to these guys.
Yeah. I know what that is. Yeah. Turn around, Mark. Turn around. Let me see. Let me see you model that shit. Let me see it.
I could say it. Yes.
I can't believe that.
Cunts. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great. What's funny is my kid's name is Mitch, and he's number 10, and there's those, that jersey, so that's kind of cool. We lost him.
Oh,
I'm here.
Hey,
well, I'm gonna go, guys. Thanks again.
Hey,
thanks, mate.
Thanks for coming on. Ralph Williams, he said the Browns got lucky. So let's talk a little bit. I know you probably got to go. So we talked about,
I can go whenever.
So yesterday was big news. Matt Canada's gone, thank God. So do you think, as I think, it's going to be better in the long run with 7 games to go. He didn't do anything for us. He was the worst offensive coordinator in Tomlin's history. Everybody else was over 60%. And we just couldn't score. We couldn't gain 400 yards to save our life. I could gain 400 yards walking in my mailbox back and forth before the Steelers get 400 yards in that offense with Matt Canada. So are you kind of happy too?
Oh, 100%. Like I was at the point where from the bye, I said this is the moment they have to fire him at the bye. The minute they didn't do that, I understand and this is why I think Steelers fans get really worked up, because I know people have their opinion. You're like, fire Tomlin, fire kind of this kind of stuff. But you got to realize what do the Steelers do? Steelers don't normally do this kind of thing. But in that Browns game, dead set, you cannot run 6 plays. You get a good play to Pickens to get you to the 40-yard line, nice pass. Then the next 3 plays, I think Najee runs back, gets a screen for -5 with incompletion, and something else happens. Or then Warren got like Warren wasn't there. But in that 6 plays, they did nothing to get a field goal and never played Warren. And that was a fireable offense from everything else. But every single year in this offense, if it was Big Ben, Trubisky, Rudolph, it didn't matter, or Kenny Pickett. And people say, oh, it's Kenny Pickett. No. It starts with the offensive coordinator. He doesn't know how to use personnel. He's not even tried to use Calvin Austin. He doesn't use Darnell, nor do they try and use Frymouth in any situation. The only good time they do well is when they run the ball and they stick with that. But why didn't you, the last week when it was 10-10, you feed Warren the football, get him 4 yards, 2nd and 6. Then you go on to be, 3rd and 2. And you just keep pushing the ball down the field and do that way. They did nothing like that.
Right.
It was kind of like, it was just stupid, beyond stupid. So they had to make the move. But I was at the point, like, from the bye, I stopped saying fire Canada, because I think to a certain point everyone knew. But they listened to the crowd. And then finally they got rid of it. They have to be better at some. This is like a refresh. They'll use the same plays, but they'll hopefully put them in different order and different personnel and schemes to outsmart the opposition. You never saw Canada get their best player against their weakest player. Like you just didn't see anything like that.
Right.
It was mind-boggling how bad he was, that every single year his points went down from 21 to 19 to now 17.
17.9. And the thing is, though, he was promoted. Like he didn't get, he was promoted as a quarterback coach to the offensive coordinator. And I didn't want him here to begin with because he wasn't very good in college anyway. So, but I don't know. I know they got quarterback coach Mike Sullivan, running back coach Eddie Faulkner. Both of those guys will be running the offense. So hopefully they might do a lot more running, maybe using the tight ends a little bit more. I'm okay with that. And then throw some long passes to George Pickens, because sooner or later, if Pickens doesn't get a lot of stuff, he's not going to be around. And that's going to be a shame.
It can't get any worse, to be honest. There has to be a better game plan with these guys coming together. And of course, they're just following what Matt Canada said. And Matt Canada's offense was just limited. And also, sometimes it was a bit of a joke. He threw like screens or halfback shovel passes to Gentry in the 2nd and 11, which didn't make sense. Right. You'd see him do a nice play. The next minute, you see him do a flea flicker to the outside, which made no sense, right? Also his route combinations, and I think there's still pressure on the other guys because they're still a part of the team. We're not just saying that say it was a bad when he's in a bad location, but great staff. No. Everyone's still under pressure, but he was leading it. And I think this is the perfect example for these players and coaches to say, let's win without him. And then we know it was his fault.
Yeah, this could be the same way. Yeah, because if they come out against Cincinnati and light them up if we score 28 points and get, let's just say 390 some yards total offense, we already know that the icing was already bad on that cake.
If it's the same though, it's going to be like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough. It's the very same product on the field, but should be different because Faulkner has sort of a game plan around the running game, and he knows how to use hopefully Najee and Warren in different places. Whereas Canada calling the plays just didn't have anything.
He wanted to get fancy. He wanted to get too fancy, and he didn't use the talent that he had. And I know Ralph Williams says Faulkner and Sullivan are going to run the Wildcat single wing scheme, and then Steelers Freak, who comes on the show all the time, is outdated. Yes, very cheap. Yeah, that's the problem with the Steelers. They get these economically sound coaches, and they don't do us any good. So I think, me personally, hopefully they look outside unless these guys do something good. But I'm thinking they're going to look outside and get somebody with some offensive-minded stuff and let Kenny in his third year go to town. I think that could happen. I think we're only this close to get where we need to be. We got 7 games to go. If we go 5-2, 5-2, we're in the playoffs. 6-1, yep. I'm cool with that too. I picked them 12-5, even with Matt Canada at the first year. I took them 12-5. As crazy as it sounds.
I think this week they'd have to take advantage of Jake Browning in that Bengals offense because he looked pretty poor when he came in from Burrow, and their team is all situated around Burrow. Now they're at home, so it's going to be a pretty tough game anyway.
Right. And he only had 64 yards and 69 yards and a touchdown. Like Joe Nixon, Chase has 833 yards, 6 touchdowns. And our secondary is hopefully Minka, maybe, but I don't know. And that's a big case.
Yeah. So the players need to actually fire up and buy in and actually get some first downs and TDs and just not worry about a low score game. Just go out and play football because at this point they're so connected with Canada that if they keep fouling, and then it won't be, then it's like, okay, the pressure's going to move on to the players now.
Right.
So the players actually had, they have no choice in the matter, but they have to do something to separate themselves from that identity for the last 3 years. Because the offense has been pretty poor, and they do have skillful players they're not getting the ball to, but we want to see them just be smarter, at least get Chris Boswell in the range and go for a field goal.
Yeah, because Boswell's ultimate.
He's unreal, dude. They talk about Tucker, but he's actually unreal. He's got like 89%, I think, career rate, and Tucker's got 92%. So Boswell is a good guy to rely on.
Well, hopefully Steelers freak. They do pay a little bit of money to get some offense philosophies because the Steelers are relying on that 1970s, early 80s, 90s philosophy of offense. And right now with the NFL, if we get in a shootout, we can't churn with the running game because we just got to score points, and we can't take 8 minutes to score on a drive when somebody else is scoring 3, or Kansas City scoring at 1:32. So, and Ralph Williams says Brian Leftwich was seen catching a flight home. He lives in Florida, so we shall see. I don't know. Maybe I don't want anybody attached to the Steelers. I want somebody new and fresh. But also, too, that Cleveland game, Jaylen Warren was my Triple B player of the game because he had 170 yards. That 74-yard touchdown was phenomenal. He's running with purpose. The Steeler defense could have put a little bit more pressure on. T.J. Watt got a sack, but Kenny was not good at passing. And like you said before, the Cleveland defense was number 1 defense in the league. So if we would have got something out of those series where we didn't get anything, just got a field goal, we would have been up 13-10, and then it would have been tied, and then we would have had a flip with a quarter. So, but Colin, well, Big Ben was his podcast, and Big Ben was looking, and he didn't even know what was going on watching that because I was watching the podcast. He didn't want to say how bad it truly was. So, and Ben is, look, Ben, he had his arm with duct tape and crazy glue that last season, but still 6 comeback victories. And Ben is going to be a Hall of Famer. Big Ben. It's just 100%. A shame that he couldn't get one more Super Bowl. He tried. Mendenhall fumbled against the Packers, and
apparently he didn't know. Did you see the latest now? He's putting all that on Big Ben now too.
Yeah. Dude, no, Mendenhall's crazy. I know Big Ben threw those interceptions and stuff.
Of course he did. Yeah.
But the tide was turning. Steelers were moving. They were moving and moving. They were driving. That would have been they would
near the I think the 30-yard line or 40-yard line. They were down by 4 points and had more momentum and lost the game. And he can't get over it. He can simply not move on from that point.
Yeah, he can write screenplays for the Rock and Ballers and go and do that. I'm good. I wasn't a big Mendenhall fan. But so this game Sunday, Cincinnati, we're in Cincinnati. They have their rookie quarterback. We are, I think, against rookie quarterbacks. We are 49-15, the Steelers all time against rookie quarterbacks. Now this season we're 0-2, which I don't like that. So I'll take one. I'll take.
Oh, we beat Will Levis. I think he was a rookie, right?
You're right. You're right.
Is Jake Browning a rookie? I thought he was like.
Well, it's a rookie start. I think that's what I must be wrong because I had a lot of shots to the head. So you actually. So we're 1 for 2. I was still upset that we lost to C.J. Stroud. I took that game just.
Oh, but they're good, man.
He is. I've taken him every week since they beat us.
Yeah,
C.J. Stroud will be the rookie of the year.
It's his second start. It's his first start, Jake Brown, but he's 27 years of age. So is he undrafted? Must be undrafted bloke. I don't know. Never heard of him. His name kind of confused me because of Browning in the Bengals. It annoys me. Does it annoy you? Jake Browning, and I'm like,
I don't like Cincinnati. I just think they're cocky. Last year we almost beat them with Burrows, and that's the last time we scored 30 points was last year. Yeah. And we 37-30. We should have beat them last year.
Do you reckon they're as physical as the Ravens or Browns? I don't think they are. I think they're more flashy. The players, not physical.
More finesse. Yeah. More finesse. But also too, Lamar Jackson cannot play us good. We got Lamar Jackson. I'm not scared of the Ravens. I hate the fucking Ravens. I hate everybody from our division. But we have Lamar Jackson's number. I don't give a shit. Mark Andrews is done for the season, so now they have a tight end. So, and we played them the last game of the season. Could be for the division because the Steelers go on a run.
If we go like this, like 1-for-1.
I just want to get us into playoffs. Get us into playoffs, and I like to see TJ Watt win a playoff game, and his career would be great. That's what I want to see because he is in. He's getting up in age, and I want to see something. So I think my keys to victory: the Steelers come out with this new offense without no Matt Canada, and they put pressure on the quarterback from Cincy. And they don't give up a big play on defense in that secondary, and I believe we were going to win. So before we get out of here, Mark, give me your score for the game this Sunday.
Let's go 26. I don't think that Jake Browning could score points. I just looked it up then. Jake Browning's only thrown 14 passes in his NFL career. So I'm going to say Steelers win 26. They're away though, so they might keep it they might get some TDs running the rock, maybe 2 field goals. 26-17. I'll go with that.
Okay. Well, Steeler Freak says Hubbard stud is out for the year, and their defense is not good. I know I seen them, a couple of Cincinnati games, and I didn't care for it. I'm going to say that George Pickens gets a touchdown. I think Kenny's going to throw a touchdown because I've been parlaying on FanDuel because I try to win something. I can't win for shit. Neither. But I think Pickens will get a touchdown. I think just give me a win. Steelers 23-17. Yeah. Devil. I got to give a score, but I'm always taking Pittsburgh. I'll never bet against the black and gold ever. I will never take the Steelers. I don't give a shit. You know what? When Ben had his arm against Denver in that playoff game, I took the Steelers, and Ben couldn't throw from here to my door. You know what I mean? And I still took the Steelers.
What's crazy about that is, right, because a lot of fans, I think, where they're not happy with the 9-8 seasons or this season, right? Well, no one is, but it's very hard to win a Super Bowl. I would rather be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan right now than like a New York Giants fan. They got Danny DeVito at quarterback. They got no one at quarterback. They have Danny DeVito. You know what I mean? Like they have their organization is in shambles.
Yes.
The Jets went with Zach Heijman Wilson, right? So you've got now Aaron Rodgers out for injury. There's so many other
supposed to come back in 2 weeks. I don't know how he's going to do it.
Is he?
He's going to try to come back in 2 weeks. I don't know. Unless he's in a chamber, and he's smoking a lot of weed, and he's on the Pat McAfee show every Tuesday.
We always have a chance to win games because Mike Tomlin has us in it. The defense has it in it. We have players like that. We just got to figure out a few things, and also there's still 7 games left. The Steelers can win this game and improve to what? 7-4 on the season with a wild card, and also if the Ravens lose, I think they're versing the Denver Broncos, which they're playing not good football now, but they're playing pretty physical football. Yeah, and also they're winning games near the end. They're playing them, so you never know. Like, I'm not going to count them out either. And also, this is a point where you got to take care of Jake Browning. Like, he's the quarterback for the Bengals. He's the guy. And the Bengals are shut down. Like, they are now like odds 1,000 million to win Super Bowl because they have no Joe Burrow.
Yeah, we got the Cardinals, New England on Thursday night. We got to win these games that we can, and we're in the playoffs. If we can win the games we're supposed to, we're in the playoffs.
And now we'll see, without the limitations of Canada, if they can run the rock and actually get an actual offense like back in the day where we can actually have first downs and chances.
Mark, if I see Kenny Pickett thrown for 275 yards and maybe 2 touchdowns,
dream.
You know what? The progression, I rather have him, right now, maybe in mid-December, lighten him up, because if he's lighting him up in December, he's going to light him up in January. And then January's playoff time. And there ain't nothing better in Western Pennsylvania than the Pittsburgh Steelers for me being in the playoffs. It's like Christmas every day. It's the big game. It's time. And last year, we had to wait on other people to get in. I don't want to wait on people. I want to
Joe Flacco.
I want to get our own destiny, and we go in.
Do you remember that game that that Steelers versus Miami Dolphins when they knocked out that quarterback? Bud Dupree came over. That was one of the best moments I've ever seen in my life. He knocked out. I don't know who it was. Was it Tannehill or the other bloke?
It was Tannehill. It was Tannehill.
Yeah, that tackle was amazing. That was Pittsburgh Steelers playoff football. I was like, oh my goodness.
Well, I've been to some playoff games, and there is nothing like it. I mean, if you ever get a chance, come over and there is nothing like the Pittsburgh Steelers playing. I've been 0-2 in AFC Championship games against New England. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I did walk out Myron Cope's last game he ever called. I walked out in the stadium with him. So, and I mean, I one more. Get me. I wanted to see Ben win one more. I'm going to be 52 years old. I like to see one more before I go to the greater trophies in the sky.
We need it for Cam too. Cameron Hayward needed for Mink. I think these veteran guys understand what's going on. They've been talking with. I actually think too, to be honest, I think like Najee and some of the players were talking with Tomlin or talking with someone about Canada. I feel like the players.
Sorry, it was Matt Moore. Thanks, Devil.
Oh, Matt Moore. Yeah, he got zoned out.
Yeah.
He took him to another realm.
Yeah, because we beat the shit out of him. We beat the shit out of him in that game. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, honestly, a lot of players were speaking up to other coaches and things were, roaming around. And that's why they had to make the move with Canada. They had to do it. So I think now the players can come together and I think to start to have fun again and go win football games.
Yeah.
And hand the ball on.
Yeah, you can have one Antonio Brown. You can't have the whole offense being Antonio Brown. No. And you had to, Tomlin and Art Rooney had to get that and squirrel them fires. Because like I said, when we were talking, Dante Johnson and screaming to Mike Tomlin on the sidelines, it's not in Pittsburgh news, but it happened Sunday.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it happened Sunday, and they're going to put that under the rug, and they just got to get focused, get in there, and start playing Steeler football. Steeler football, to me, Mark, is people feared the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town. We're not that feared now because our offense and our defense. People feared us my whole life. They even in the 80s when we were getting our asses beat, they still feared the Pittsburgh Steelers because our defense was still good in the 80s. We just didn't have a quarterback until Big Ben.
And it's crazy too. I think as well, I think from what I've seen so far is that Eddie Faulkner is a pretty likable guy. You know what I mean? I think he's a likable guy. He's in the offense. He's been there 4 years now. So he's stepping up that position. I think he'll get them all ready. And also, did you see are you on Twitter? Because I went on Twitter.
I do, but I got so much stuff. It's hard to keep track of everything.
Everyone's getting blocked by, or like, the Steelers fans, they're getting blocked by Eddie Faulkner and crying. I'm like, just man up. Who cares? If you get blocked by him, he doesn't want to hear the nonsense. So I think he's going to get everyone ready by being that physical running back coach. I think I'm not even sure what Matt Canada, what was his favorite position besides being on the bench? Like,
that was his favorite position. That was his favorite position. And I believe, and I understand people are out of jobs. But you know what? He got promoted and he still wasn't successful. When you get a promotion in jobs and my job or your job or whatever, you're being successful because you're getting promoted. He got promoted and he was the worst offensive coordinator in Tomlin's history.
What was he? Matt Canada was a quarterback's coach, was he?
He was a quarterback coach. Yes, he was.
Right. Okay. That
says enough right there. And he wasn't good in college, and you should have just not hired him knowing that. And I think Najee. I like Najee as a leader. I think Najee is. I picked Najee 100%. To get 16. I had Najee going 1,600. As crazy as it sounds, and I'm not smoking dope or getting drunk or anything like that. I had him going for 1,500 to 1,600 yards this year because due to the line last year and him being 7-2, and then the preseason, like, oh my God, it was great. And then it was all good on paper, and then that 49er game just shocked us right in the mouth, and we just haven't recovered. But we slowly, I think, are recovering in somewhat.
They can if they play the same way against the Titans and Packers. They can, because I had Warren going for 1,002 and Najee 1,002, both getting 1,000.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, just keep running the ball and we'll be good. I think, like I said, 7 games left, 6-1, and then down to the wire, and maybe they can win all 7. I don't know. I never know. I'll take all 7. It's crazy as it sounds.
Unless they're healthy on defense and because we're the most turnovers and they can get back to some winning football and like first downs on offense, then I think we have a chance. Well, like this team is it's the thing now. We just don't know because we don't know what to expect from this game. Once we see a game of like, oh my goodness, they got 28. They said 2 TDs. They're actually moving the ball.
Yeah. Be like, oh my God.
Okay, let's go.
Well, we're lucky. We've been lucky all season. So now If we're good and lucky,
yeah,
we're
and
dangerous.
that's why you win these points. People, I want to win by 1,000. Well, that's why you win the game.
Number one in luck. That's Steeler Freak is right. Number one in luck. Yeah, I will take good and luck any day. And we just weren't lucky against Cleveland, and the magic of Kenny Pickett in the fourth quarter just disappeared. So now I don't want the magic in the fourth quarter. I want the magic 3 quarters ahead and already putting us up.
But they got Matt Canada fired, so it's all good.
That's all good. So Mark, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome. And anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome. You are got to invite anytime you want to talk Steeler football. Every Wednesday night I talk. And if you ever want to come on our big Mania show to give our picks next year, or around the year-end round or whatever, if we do a mega cast, I will definitely get a hold of you. And everybody, it was my honor, Mark, for having you on, and it was great talking.
It's been fun. Like I said, I just love talking football, and I still think we have a chance to do something. So,
I agree with you.
I agree with you. It's been fun, man. It's honestly goodness. It's just I can't get enough. I just can't get enough of Steelers football. I honestly good. Even the channel now that I do and everything like that, I just bring up topics, news, articles, go back to the the very old days. Like my favorite player of all time is James Debo Harrison because he's just a legend.
Now, let me ask you, I have a picture I'm looking at right now. I have Steelers lined up all the way. And I got Debo. If you ever saw the Monday night game, if you could catch it on YouTube, Debo got an interception and hurdled somebody. And I met him, and I got an autograph from Debo up top of my stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm 6'2", and Debo was massive. And he's about 5. I think he's about 5'9". But he is still I've seen his workouts are phenomenal. Like, he just is a workout fiend. So
what was the one when Mike Tirico says, "Send him right now to the Pro Bowl"? That was my favorite. He got 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, interception.
Maybe it was I know the Monday night he played the Ravens, he had 5 sacks. I mean, he was killing them.
Because even he spoke about that game and said, "Well, I was on the zone. I was on one." He even got a special teams fumble. He got a sack, a fumble. He got an interception. And it was before the half, and Mike Tirico said, "Just send him straight to the Pro Bowl now."
Now, did you ever see his NFL life, Dana life?
Many times.
And it was good because he played because when you got cut 5 times, you play with tenacity, and he did, and that was the greatest Super Bowl play was that 100-yard interception.
How's the bloke goes to him? What did you do at the combine? Where were you? Rated in the draft? He's like, you didn't know what school I went to, did you, or something like that? He said, he didn't go to the draft. You said, "You don't know who I am, do you?" And he walked off. Because he asked him, when did you get drafted and did you go to the combine? He said, "You don't know who I am, do you?" Debo is fantastic, man. He is like honestly one of the best players. I think, my favorite player, but one of the best players I've ever seen play the game. Well, he's unbelievable.
I got one more comment before we get out of here, and Vince Williams. Okay. Yeah, Vince Williams. Well, the Steelers linebacking, Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, Greg Lloyd, Kevin Green. I mean, oh, my God. James Ferrier, Harrison, outside, Highsmith and TJ Watt. So the Steelers have always been good at linebackers and running backs and receivers, and it took 26 years to get quarterbacks. So we will see if Kenny is Cliff Stout or if Kenny is a little bit of Bradshaw and a little bit of Big Ben. We'll just have to wait and see. But you know what, Mark? It was such a pleasure having you on.
Awesome, man.
Thank you so much, everybody. This is Mark from Steelers Nation in Australia. So we just went international tonight talking Steelers football. So everybody, I don't know. Do you guys have Thanksgiving over there?
No, we don't. But I'll put out a video or something like that for being thankful. But no, we don't have that. That's more your thing.
Okay.
That's your thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody, happy Thanksgiving, Mark.
100%.
Mate, thank you so much. And we are getting out of here. So everybody take care, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday. And if you guys been on, please follow Steelers Nation Australia. Subscribe to his channel. I'll get a link to it on the thing, and we'll put it out, and we'll share it and do whatever we can to help him out. So I appreciate it, Mark, for coming on. Everybody, thank you, and have a great night and a better tomorrow.